Today we're taking a look at for loops, which are like while loops. They just take all of their information that's scattered throughout the main and they put it inside of their brackets. So down here I put the format for the for loop because it might get a little bit confusing. We'll have our start, or whatever variable we want to initialize with. We'll have a semicolon. Then we'll put the end, which is going to be the condition. What do we want to stop at? Say when x is less than this amount. And then we have the increase, which is our incrementation value, which will say, how much do we need to increase by every time we pass through the loop. At the end, I'm also going to show you how we can design this with a while loop, just so you can see the similarities. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off by writing for. Simple enough. Now we can write our variable inside. So I can actually go ahead and, write it here. I can write integer of x is equal to 5. Or I can actually go ahead and do it like this. You have all the options available to you. You can write integer x here to just say that we're using integer data with x. Then you can write x is equal to 0. Then you'll separate with a semicolon. And you can go ahead and write, say, x is less than 5, which is going to be where we want to end. This means we'll have 5 runs of the loop. We'll start off at 0. Then we'll go to 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that will end it off at 5. If you wanted to have the exact amount that you're writing in your ending amount for turns of the loops, you would either write less than if you were dealing with starting off at 0, or you do less than or equal to if you're starting off at 1. It's just something, just have to think about it in your mind and you'll be able to figure it out, but that's just a little thing. Just don't get confused with that. Next, we write our incrementation value, which we can simply write x++, which is the same thing as what we saw earlier, which means increase by 1 every time we pass through the loop. And I looked at that last video in the past 2 videos. If you wanted to go by more and you wanted to increase by more, you would put the plus and then an equal sign and then another number. You would not go x++2. You would put x plus 2, something like that. But let's just start off with 1 right here because we're not dealing with a lot. And that is our for loop. And then we're going to go ahead and put our body here. And we can go ahead and print out x each time so we can see our for loop in action. So now every time it passes through this loop, it's going to go ahead and print out x, and we'll see how it's going to increase. So let's go ahead and build and run here. The build has succeeded. And we're going to go right here and we're going to get our 5 values, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Simple enough. We saw the exact same thing with our while loop, which I'm going to build right now. So remember this format here. We have our starting value. We have our ending value, which we want it to not go higher than 5, or not go higher than 4 in this case, because we want to stay less than 5. And this is the condition that we saw with the while loop. This is simply, assigning a value to your variable before you get to the while loop. This is your condition, and this is the incrementation statement you had somewhere inside of your loop. And then you have your statements inside, and it'll execute them like this. So let's go ahead and design this as if it was a while loop, just so you guys can see how similar it is. Say we will go ahead and say we'll assign the value of 0 to x. Then we're going to open up our while loop, and we only need to put the condition inside. So in this case, we could put x is less than 5. We'll open up our brackets. We can go ahead and write x++ to say we want an incrementation, and before that we'll go ahead and print out the value of x, and you can see we're going to get the exact same results if we were doing it like this, just so you guys can see the similarity. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all like that. So you see how they're similar. They're not too different. The only difference you're really getting here is you're getting everything inside of your brackets, and that can kind of help you keep things organized. In the end, you can perform both tasks with both types of loops, just so you guys don't get confused. I showed you guys both of them. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I will respond to you as soon as possible, and I'll have more videos coming up later. Thanks.